last video. Today we're going to be starting a new series called the Crafting Implements series, and it's all about crafting things that will help you out in the field when you're camping. Say it's an actual survival situation, you may actually need to use these and you just happen to have them because you made it and you carry it on you. Alright, so we're going to get started today, and today we're going to make a Flint and Steel set. That's going to be our first video in the series, the Crafting Implement series. Anyways, a lot of people may not have grinders, but you really need a grinder, guys. Bench grinders are probably going to be much more beneficial than, say, like a disc grinder. I'm sure you could use a disc grinder for this if you had some kind of a vise setup, but look, get yourself a bench grinder. If you ain't got a bench grinder, go see somebody who has a bench grinder. I mean, come on, I know your uncle, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, somebody in your family is going to have a bench grinder. You're also going to need a bucket. I use a 5-gallon old, I don't even know what the hell this is, an old paint bucket, basically, and fill it up with, I don't know, a gallon of water or two. It's for cooling the metal down to make sure you don't lose the temper on the metal. And we'll get more into that here in a minute. But yeah, get yourself a 5-gallon bucket, doesn't matter what of, or whatever. It just needs to hold water so you can dunk your metal in it to keep it cool. They used to make them out of high carbon steel. And I think there's still some that do make them out of high carbon steel. I'll have to look into that. But there's a lot of them out there. I know Mill Bastards and I know Nicholson Files are pretty bad about this. They don't make them out of tool steel. They make them out of a few different varieties. I think it's cheaper and faster or something like that to make it out of instead of tool steel to make it out of that. It's cheaper and more beneficial for the companies to make it out of the mixture variety of steels versus the tool steel. But the problem with that is you can't throw sparks with it, and that's what we're looking for here. And that's why these old files are great, because, man, go to any yard sale, any flea market, any barn, like your grandparents' barn, and tell me you can't find an old rusty file somewhere, because you can't. You will find one. So it's ideal. They're like, you know what I mean? They're like a dime a dozen. People throw them in the corner. They don't even throw them away. They throw them in the corner and leave them rot. What's cool is there's like a dual purpose out of this. When you make your steel striker out of it, it's not only you're getting a steel striker, guys, but you're getting a stiff 90-degree edge for using on your ferrule rods, and for scraping against wood to get your shavings and get your shavings nice and small. But it also comes with a file. If you don't grind off the side of your file, you got a file and a striker all in one. I highly recommend you do not grind this side, because it's not easy to strike sparks on this side anyway. It's easy to do it on the very narrow end. So grind the narrow ends down nice and 90-degree flat, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And use your side, leave it blank, don't do nothing to it, and you got a file with it. Helps with keeping your stuff sharp. Alright, so anyways, you need to get yourself a file. It needs to be an old file. And it doesn't matter what kind of file it is, as long as it's an old file or it's made out of tool steel. Tool steel or high carbon steel. The steel's got to be hard, guys. That's the only way this is ever going to work. Alright, so you got yourself your file. Your high carbon steel file made out of tool steel or whatever. And the first thing I guess you want to do is break it into size, right? I mean, I guess you could carry a whole thing like this, but we're trying to make a kit here, you know? This doesn't exactly fit in some kind of a tin. So I'm going to show you that right now, is how to get this to the right size. Okay guys, so here we are. We got our Altoids tin here, or char tin, whichever tin you choose. And my files are here. And what I do is, it's basically common sense, guys. I set the file on top, come over, grab myself a Sharpie, and just lay it on here, and just measure out from the smallest end, which is this way. You don't want the end with a tang, we don't want that, we want the other end, the end of it here. And put it on your Altoids tin, and just kind of measure it so it fits just barely in. Obviously if it's too big it ain't gonna fit. So put the end of your file to the inside of the tin, and mark just to the inside here. There's my mark there, and that's what we want. Cap your Sharpie, throw it away, or aside, it don't matter. And we'll move on to the next part. File, hammer, a punch. These things break very easily. So what we're going to do is control the break right on this Sharpie we have. and it's gonna break wherever we put this chisel at. So I'm just gonna put this chisel right on that black Sharpie line that I just made and give it a good smack. Just like that. All right, stay tuned, guys, and I will show you how to get this thing cleaned up. All right, guys. So we got our file here that we broke off, right? It's jagged though, as you can see. So we're gonna clean that up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come over to the grinder. You got the bristle edge and you got the stone edge. Come over to the stone edge and just work it down. Highest point, we're gonna get it to level out right about here. And then we'll work on the sides to get them flat and test this thing out and see how it works. If you get this thing too hot, it'll change the temper on it and it won't throw sparks anymore. So do a couple strips, dip it in water, throw the water off, do a few strips, dunk it in water, throw the water off. Stick right here. I'm just working this back and forth, guys. It's not really an art. You just grind it down, that's all. And I got a considerable amount of extra here past that Sharpie. It broke just past the line where I made. So I'm gonna have to grind this down pretty good here. Alright, let's do the old Altoid tin test here, shall we? Fits in. I'm gonna call that good, guys. Next thing we gotta do is, these files are rough cut, they got teeth on the sides. And so we gotta get rid of the teeth. You're not gonna be able to strike any sparks. You're not gonna be able to strike any sparks with the teeth on the side. So we gotta grind that down on both sides. Or if you want to leave one side with teeth so you can use it as a tool, by all means leave it. So what you're going to do is, you're going to very carefully bring this up to the stone. And it's very important that you get this thing in a perfect 90-degree angle with that stone. If you're a little too this way, a little too that way, you're going to create a round. And it's going to make it harder than hell to throw sparks off that with your flint or your chert or your quartz. So try your best to get that thing perfectly flat, 90-degree angle every time. Middle of the stone, I'm going to start rolling here. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so let's see if this thing works. All right, guys. I got, I think this is a piece of quartz here. Fire steel we just made out of this file. See, there's the regular side. That's the regular file side. And here is the grinded side. It's all flat now. Okay, so let's just see if we can't get this thing to spark, huh? Oh, I saw one there. Yep. It's sparking just fine. This rock isn't the sharpest rock. It's pretty dull. If I sit here and flint nap this, probably a lot better. But as you can see, Old file we found in the backyard or at a garage sale, yard sale, flea market, grandpa's house, uncle's house, mom's house. Took that, broke it off with nothing more than a hammer and a chisel you can find anywhere. And we took it to the grinder, grinded the side down so it's nice and flat. And we're able to throw sparks with it. Then after that, get yourself an old Altoids tin, they're like $1. Throw in your fire steel, throw in your rock. Once you find your rock, then you're all set, guys. Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching another PWS video in our new series, the Crafting Implement series, the first one in our series, the How to Make a Flint and Steel Set. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate all your views and subscriptions. I'll see you guys again next time here on PWS.